Let's talk about articles, such as a, and the. We use articles with nouns. In a sentence, we can't just say, boy went to the park. We have to say, a boy went to the park, or the boy went to the park, or our neighbor's boy went to the park. Now, when do we use each of these articles? This is the tricky part. First, let's talk about the. The is used to describe a noun that's specific. For example, the teacher that I talked to at the office was very friendly. It's a specific teacher. We also use the to talk about a noun that there's only one of. We could say the bazaar or the store if there's only one of them that you usually go to. We also use the to talk about an object or subject that we're mentioning for the second time. So for example, I could say, I was watching a TV show last night. The show was so boring, I turned it off early. Because I'm mentioning the show for the second time, I use the because it's now a specific show. We also use the when the noun has an adjective clause or phrase that describes it. The dog that followed me home yesterday was very nice. Because the dog has a phrase that follows it to make it a specific dog, we use the. Now let's talk about using a or an. We use a or an when we're talking about a non-specific noun. So for example, I want to buy a car. We don't know which car. You haven't seen it, I haven't seen it. It's not a specific car. But let's compare that sentence to this sentence. I want to buy the car that we saw yesterday. Now it's a specific car because you and I have both seen it. We know which car we're talking about. And so because of that, we use the. But if it's just any car, we say, I want to buy a car. Also, you probably know that using a versus an is important. We use a to come before nouns that have a consonant sound. We use an to come before nouns that have a vowel sound. Now, let's talk about when to not use articles. One example of a time when you should not use an article is when you're talking about a plural general noun. For example, boys like soccer. This is a plural general noun. You're not talking about specific boys, and because of that, you wouldn't say a or the before it. It's a general noun. But if you're talking about specific boys, then you would use the. The boys in my class like soccer. We also don't use articles when we're talking about certain proper nouns, such as a country or a person. We would not say the Spain, or we would not say the Murat. Because of this, we don't use articles for certain proper nouns. We also can't use articles to talk about certain uncountable nouns. For example, the word pollution, when it's used generally, cannot take an article. Pollution is a problem. You're talking about pollution in general, and so we wouldn't say a pollution or the pollution. We would just say pollution is a problem. We'll be talking more about uncountable nouns later in this video. Let's talk about this chart because it summarizes the way we use articles in English. First, if you have a noun that's singular and general, we use a or an to describe it. I gave my teacher an apple yesterday. Now, if we have a noun that is general but plural, we don't use an article to talk about it. For example, I gave my teacher apples yesterday. Or I gave money to my friend. If we're talking about a noun that is singular and specific, we use the. Please pass me the pencil that is on your desk. It's a specific pencil and it's singular, so we use the. Then, if we're talking about a noun that is plural and specific, we can also use the. Please pass me the pencils that are on your desk. He gave me the money from yesterday.